When a national security law was enacted in Hong Kong last year, the US took an offensive stance, with former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo saying that it has destroyed Hong Kong's autonomy, and then went ahead to impose sanctions on our officials. And yet, if you take a look at America's own legislation, you will find more than 20 pieces of law that are related to national security, including Espionage Act of 1917, the National Security Act of 1947, the Central Intelligence Agency Act of 1949, the Protect America Act of 2007, just to name a few. So why is it okay for the United States to have their own national security laws, but it's not okay for Hong Kong and China to have ours? Is it that only the United States deserves to have their country secured, but not other nations? If you consider the fact that the maximum penalty for violating the security law in Hong Kong is only life imprisonment, while it's death penalty in America, then why is it considered a violation of human rights here in Hong Kong, but not in the United States? And mind you that, the national security law is not the only place where the US government displays the hypocrisy. The Americans also frequently adopt double standards in treating violent protests domestically and overseas, something that our national security law intends to protect us from. Just back in 2 years ago, in 2019, when rioters stormed the legislative body of Hong Kong, causing damage and attacking the police who were completely restrained, the US House Speaker Nancy Pelosi called it a beautiful sight to behold. And yet, on January 6th of this year, when Trump supporters stormed the Capitol Hill in similar fashion, Pelosi called it an assault made on our democracy and an instigation to violence. So how can two events that are so alike of each other generate such a different response from that same person? And how can Pelosi make no comments about Americans' police brutality when the Capitol Police shot and killed a 35-year-old female protester? Her name is Ashley Babbitt, who was unarmed and doing absolutely nothing to threaten the officer at the time. Ladies and gentlemen, if this is not hypocrisy, I don't know what is.